Okay, so I have Brady with SB Septic, and pretty much he's just going to share his experience with Porta Potty Marketing Pros and how things went. Okay, so Brady, if you could just introduce yourself, your company name, what you do, and how you guys have been doing as a company lately.
Yeah, so I'm Brady Alexander, and we started S&B Septic and Sewer about a year ago, maybe about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And man, we focus mainly in septic and sewer systems. We don't do a whole lot of grease work at the moment. We don't do a lot of car wash stuff. We don't do really anything other than lift station pumping, emergency service, septic service, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where our main focus is right now.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. I mean, hey, you do the dirty job, but it's good, right? It's good.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
I see it.
Always a necessity, right?
It's a
So we try to
necessity.
help
You
everybody
are an
that we
essential
can.
business, sir. We know that.
Yeah,
So,
we don't
yeah.
want to get shut down.
You don't want to get shut down. All right, it's not gonna get shut down. I promise. I even see the hat. He's been working today, already this morning, right? Already
Yeah,
pumped a
yeah.
few. All right. But anyways, next question. Really, before you started, I know you were looking for someone who kind of understood your industry. How many leads do you think you were getting now that were like qualified before a program, and then now as you started, you've been on board with us for a few months?
I would say already we have been getting way more qualified leads. So the thing that I would get a lot of is before we started with you guys is I would get phone calls, and you might say half of them were not relevant to what we were trying to go after. And so we would
Yeah.
get phone calls from a lot of people outside of our service area. We would get a
Mhm.
lot of phone calls from people,
Yeah.
calling to buy parts and buy, which is not what we do,
Yeah.
or do things that were kind of outside of what we do. And so since starting with you guys, we have got a lot more leads that are qualified, that
Yeah.
are in our service area, that are looking for the services that we provide, which is nice knowing because we pay, obviously for a lot of these leads. And it's nice knowing that the majority of these that are coming to us, we are handling,
Yeah.
as opposed to before, we're getting a lot of calls for things that, I have no business
Yeah.
entertaining, being with, doing anything, but yet I'm still paying for it. So,
Yeah. No, that really sucks. Like when you see like maybe it's a high cost per click. It might be like $60, and then it's just like it's for a part that you
yeah,
don't want. It's
that,
like
yeah, we don't even sell,
kind of demoralizing. Like, oh my God, like what am I doing here?
exactly.
As far as us, like I know we're a little different. Like we follow up a little bit more, but what different things do you feel we tried to help you succeed that may have been different than another digital marketing agency or another experience you may have had in the past?
I would say kind of focusing in on the things that we do. A lot of companies we tried to work with wanted to take it in such a broad service, I guess. Like you guys have done a lot better with me as far as, and
Mm.
so I think that's helped out significantly. And that goes kind of hand in hand with getting those qualified leads that are more tailored to exactly with what we want to service, I guess, or the jobs we want to take.
No, absolutely. And next question, when it comes to septic or anything in the sanitation industry, why do you think for those type of businesses having an online presence is important?
Well, firsthand for us, I would say that it's a big deal because we get a lot of emergency calls. Online presence to me, I guess, in this industry means more like they're finding us in their first search that they can run on Google, on whatever. And I would guess Google's probably the most widely used, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of people that have a Facebook page, or a lot of people that, tell people or give out business cards. But in
Hmm.
our experience, if somebody's toilets are backing up in their office or their house, or it's a holiday weekend, first thing they're doing is getting on their phone, pulling
Yeah.
up Safari and typing in emergency septic service.
Yeah.
They're not digging through a drawer looking for a business card. They're not, going to go run into their fridge or whatever for a magnet. And so that's kind of what we found is it works out better for us to pay that money to
Hmm.
build an online presence,
Hmm.
because the majority of people, are going to go straight to that as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we can pay more money for that initial
Yeah.
service for that customer, because if we show up on an emergency to help out a customer, we paid a lot of money maybe for that lead, but then it becomes a customer that we'll probably have for a long time.
Absolutely.
So, it's just made a lot of sense for us to be able to do that.
You explained it really well. It's what I call, to put it simply put, an oh shit business. I need Brady, right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
It is, I don't, outside of working with you guys, we don't do a whole lot of marketing, because if this marketing scheme that we put together works well, I don't need to do anything else.
yeah.
So
it's nice, right?
Yeah,
Pick up the phone. I got you, man. There, and you go in there with the hat and just do your thing and come back out, get paid, right? And do it all over.
Yeah.
Okay. What was I going to say? This is a question I think you'll like, because you're an incredibly driven person. What are your company's goals for the next few years?
As a whole, I think we want to venture into kind of having our hands in multiple aspects of sanitation.
Yeah.
But in working with you guys, my goal has become, like a short-term goal is to become very good at a few things, kind of like I had mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And then as soon as we can kind of master, or I guess get really good at a few things, then being able to branch off into, working more into doing, like grease trap service work, stuff like that, more installation type work that we might venture into, stuff that we can kind of then branch off and become a full service company, as opposed to just being, in the pumping and service industry. We can then service our customers better and be able to take care of all of their needs. So I think that in the next few years, for me, I would like to build into having a full installation side as well as a service and maintenance side.
That's awesome.
Obviously adding, a few crews and more trucks and stuff like that. But yeah, I would like to have my hand in both sides of it, So.
All right. So the septic world, this man's gonna do it. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
The way this guy talks, I can see it. So you educated us a lot too. As an agency, for us, why is our agency, Porta Potty Marketing Pros, different than like the standard digital marketing agency that just does general marketing?
Hands down, the knowledge in the business, I think, is a huge one. So sanitation in general is kind of in a world of its own, I think. So it's nice to have somebody that understands that part of it, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't understand maybe even just the service industry, as far as how it works, how you target, kind of like we said earlier about, I don't care so much about any other marketing as much as being online and being available online, because that's where our leads come from. A lot of other agencies we've tried to work with didn't really understand that part of the service business, and maybe had more experience in retail or doing other things, which they might have been real good at. But for us, having somebody that has experience in the service side of things for what we do is a huge plus, as well as knowing how the industry works. And so, the other thing that I really like about working with you guys is that you guys are available. So we've worked with companies in the past where I would have to send in an email, wait for somebody to call me back. Nobody did, or, whatever, send in a form for my problems and never get to talk to anybody, whether it be face to face or on the phone or texting or anything. It's nice to know that I can just text you and be like, hey, Brett, we need to do this, or this isn't working, or what do you think about this, and get a response, or call you, or whatever. And so that's a huge plus, I think, working with you guys, is being able to get that communication and pretty much right away. I mean, you guys pretty well are always available, always can talk, whether it be just something quick or whatever, not being like, hey, you can call me tomorrow at 2. It's like, I just need to ask you something real quick. I don't really need to set up a meeting. And so that's nice, having that flexibility with you guys. So
absolutely. Well, I appreciate that, man. That's what we pride ourselves on. This is a big jump for what we're doing and focusing on the sanitation industry. It's awesome, And, I love seeing people happy. There's smiles on people's faces, like, I'm making money doing a very dirty job.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.